Hello, how's it going?
It's going. But what episode are we filming right now?
7.
7. Ooh, lucky number 7.
So how are you doing today as, yourself, your artist self, your person checking in? Let's check in with you there,
Let's
Jay.
do the check-in. Awesome. Jamie's check-in and go. Good. Creatively, I'm feeling a bit behind, which is a bit of a struggle for me, but I'm finding that once I'm writing, I'm doing a lot of writing, like I've mentioned before. I'm creating my first play that's going on in a
Mm-hmm.
festival in June. And the development for that is it's good, but it's still a process, right? And it's still finding out what your process is.
Right.
And I think where I'm at artistically is finding out how that works for me. It's good though. I'm always excited to get right down to the creative part and get those ideas. I usually get like images in my head, which is really good. I'm finding that for me is everybody's like, okay, so you're crazy.
Yes.
But from those images or from the pictures, I develop my dialogue. So I'll be like, okay,
Okay.
cool. So I see a man and a man walking down the street. Great, and go. And then totally improvise the conversation.
Yeah.
Artistically, yeah. So artistically good, a little slow, but still trugging away. Still, that train is still a rolling, and it's still going forward, which is good. Person wise, I'm sorry, I'm going to admit it. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired, but again, just doing what I can, just eating right, trying to exercise when I can, and yeah, still rocking and
Great.
rolling on the West Coast. And how are things with the lovely Holly?
Good. As creatively, I think I'm doing well. I've just finished a devising process for a theater company that's writing a piece for the summer
Amazing.
In Barrie called The 5 Points. And right now, I guess I'm just focusing a lot because I have a fringe show going to the Orlando Fringe Festival. We have a preview show April 30th, so that's fun, which is nice because I'm really liking sketch, and it's nice to work with a group of people that I actually enjoy working with. So
Absolutely.
we wanted to tell you about us as people, not just like artists. We do a lot creatively, and we do a lot at our jobs, which we've spoken about a lot. But what about us as just like human beings?
As human beings, do you wanna get that ball rolling, Hall?
Sure. I feel like lately I've had a pretty like active social life, which is weird for
It's
me.
great.
As someone who's always doing something
Yeah.
creatively, I find that usually kind of takes over my life a lot of the time. But I also work in a board game cafe, so I get to play board games a lot. Sometimes you have to realize that you are also a human person who has human
Uh-huh.
emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to just sit down with friends over a coffee and just be like, let's chat about life.
Absolutely.
Which
Absolutely.
I highly recommend to anyone out there, as opposed to just like continually pushing forward. Is like we can do that as much as we want
Yeah.
to, but we have to also realize as artists, the only way we can learn to grow is by living life.
The way that I sort of work with that is I log on to CBC every morning
Okay.
with my coffee, and I'll read everything from world to opinion to politics to business to
Nice.
health to art because I need my mind to be
Mhm.
stimulated. And also though I find that for myself I'm very interested in what's going on in the world.
That's
I
great.
want to know how, because every decision that, for example, the United States makes as one of the top global leaders of the world, everything that is happening there is going to affect where I am. And is going to affect where I want to go. So, for example, if I want to travel, I want to know what's going on in different countries. I want to know how countries run. I want to know how people are affected by what is going on in their country. So I find ever so often, and then I feel a little bit more fulfilled. And then after I've logged off of CBC and been like, cool, okay, I've had enough death now.
Yeah.
I've read many articles on death right now. I've had my death fix. I am now going to go and write something completely different. So I find that if I'm
Mm.
reading something that's completely outside of the arts, it actually stimulates more for me.
Oh,
And
it should too. Like you write what
mhm.
you know, right?
Or I work with many artists at my job right now, other artists. So it's really great to saddle up at the old bar at the end of the shift and talk about anything else. I mean, we look at each other, and one of my coworkers will say, "Okay," and go, and anything. We'll just talk about anything to sort of just release ourselves from the shift that we had, or we will talk about artist projects, but we go deeper than the surface with many issues. And I for one do enjoy actually talking to strangers, and my sister family will definitely vouch for me on this. I love talking to different people. I do. And then I find that the more that I do, I feel better about myself. I feel intelligent. I feel confident. And I feel that I have my opinion, that Jamie has a voice, which is something that I'm seeking out outside of being an artist. I have my artist voice, but I also want to have Jamie's voice as well.
I think it's also a good thing to do, especially if you're working on like a group project or you're doing a creative project. Like most theater that's not like a one-person show involves a lot of people, and I think like the best way to actually create organic chemistry on stage is to actually be with this person in real life as opposed to just in rehearsal or you know, just around hanging out like during rehearsal because you can't really care about someone if you don't actually know about them as people. So I think that's like such an important thing is if you're working on a project, try and make an effort to actually like after rehearsal to be like, hey guys, I want to like go grab some drinks or just like find a time where you guys can all get together. And I know that's like so hard. It's so hard to do that, especially as artists that we are that are constantly working on things because we want to be like, oh no, we have other things we're working on, and we never want to actually like sit down and just talk, but you have to realize how important that actually is.
I feel that there are some people that if you only focus on the work or if you only are in the room together, it becomes stagnant. It becomes like, where could you grow from there? But it's also about finding out that, you know, if I do this in the rehearsal room, you kind of look and go, oh, I now understand this because Jamie grew up in a large family or her parents are divorced. Oh, so this makes sense. And it's not about casting judgments. It's actually just knowing more about the people that I agree with, the people that you are working with on a more human level as opposed to it just being about the work. Because I've been trapped sometimes where I feel it's only about the work. As I'm becoming, I guess, more mature in the industry, and my eyes that are a little bit more wider than usual, that I'm starting to understand what I have to do in order to produce really good work or to basically get to know people more. Is there like an example that you would say that when you sat down with somebody for a drink, you were like, oh my goodness, and then walked back into the rehearsal room the next day and was like, oh my goodness, this just totally went a different way now?
My best friend and I, she's never really done improv, and I do improv often, but we know each other so well. We hang out with each other all the time. We know everything about each other. And I forced her to do an improv competition with me. So we went into it, and she was like so nervous, but on stage we worked so well together because we knew everything about each other. We could like physically go in different ways that you wouldn't feel comfortable with if you didn't know the person, and like there was like no line that we couldn't cross because we know each other so well that we ended up like winning the competition because our chemistry on stage was just so apparent that people were like, yeah, you guys are great.
Amazing. Yeah, I have a couple stories, and one of them involves you. It was when we first met, and when we did female therapy, and I really just liked you. I did. I thought you were hilarious. I thought you were seriously, I really was drawn to you, and I thought, oh my goodness, she's talented, she's funny, she's such a sweet person, and you were supportive and encouraging, and I thought we worked well together, and I thought because we worked so well together, I was more inclined to say and go out with you and go, I want to get to know Holly on a level, and I secretly hoped that we had be friends, and we did.
Yay! Well, there's the success, guys.
Yay!
You just have to ask for it.
You just have to go up to the girl or the boy that you're working with or whoever you're working with and go, I'd like to be friends. Can we go out for coffee now? And even if they say no, you force them to do it anyways.
Yeah. Well, you didn't have to force me at all because I was very inclined to be your friend. So
and same thing. It was in school with one of my best friends. There was something that I was just drawn to her artistically, and I thought, wow, she's super talented. And we had it was an improv game, and afterwards, when you have to do the reflection, we both just looked at each other and was like, what was that? It was super powerful, super connected. Nice. Super trustworthy, and even the professor was like, I saw that. Again, just went for coffee, kind of finding interest, going, do you like coffee? What do you want to, would you like to hang? And she's like, absolutely. And from that, our friendship developed, and we worked together for a number of years afterwards, and we did a Fringe show together, and that was one of my most beautiful pieces of work that I had done outside of school was when we collaborated together. So hold on to your artistic friends, but know that you can have a friendship outside of it as well.
Yeah, I love that. And now we turn as we always do to you, the audience, and we want to hear your stories of working with people and
Absolutely.
Being people outside of rehearsal and the creative part of it. Like, how does that involve your actual work, and how does that make you a better person?
Absolutely. Share with us. We are just so tickled that you're still watching and viewing, and we love doing this, and we can't wait to hear from you.
Yeah. All right. Bye for now.
See
you later. You are so special. Maybe you don't think so. If we both took a moment to listen to one another, then maybe we could know what we both know. You, me, and us. You, me, and us.
How things are made, yeah.
Try to live vicariously through you. I'm like, Holly's doing something. I have to do something too.